Hi guys! In today's video, I'm going to be comparing 1-year-old slime versus 1-day-old slime from famous slime shops, and I'm also going to be giving all of them a slime makeover. I did this by which one I ended up liking more, whether that was the 1-year-old one or the 1-day-old one, and I kept those ones normal whilst I customized the ones I didn't like so much. So first up, we're going to start off with the slime I think is the most famous slime that you can get from a slime shop, and this is Snoop Slime's Barbie slime. This was the first slime I actually ever bought, so this was so excited to reactivate, and as you can see, this is a really gorgeous purple tinted slime. And this is interesting for me because the new slime, the new version of it, is more of a rose gold tinted one. It's very gorgeous, but this one is super pigmented, and I think it might just be because it was the start of her shop. People don't really know kind of the ins and outs of what to do in the slime shop. This is a side-by-side comparison, and the new one is so thick and so glossy, whereas the old one just feels like a normal slime, but it's a lot more pigmented, and I actually think the new one works better just by the look of it. This one is very shiny, and I think it has a purple base. I think that it was kind of like tinted purple in itself. So to customize this, I did add the old one to Jiggly slime. And for this, I just thought it would be amazing to see how much pigment was actually in it and how much it would kind of shine through in this Jiggly slime. And like you can see, it stayed so dark. Like you couldn't see through my hand. It wasn't transparent at all. It was just amazing. It was still so thick and really fun to play with. Next up, we have another amazing slime that stayed iconic, and this is Audeezslimes Lemon Poppy Seed Batter. And back in the day, it was very orange. That was the first thing I noticed when I put this side to side. The new one is the kind of greeny toned yellow one, I would say, and this is a really thick slime, very creamy. It's been reformulated and it's just amazing, and it's so glossy. So with the old one, I actually saw her method of creating the new one on her story, and what she does is she uses Elmer's glue and she activates it too much, so it's basically a bit overactivated, and as you can see here, this looks very tough and lumpy, and this is what I always see on her stories. So I decided to give this a fair test and let it sit for 2 weeks to get it super thick like the new one. And I did get it super thick, but obviously she's reformulated because it wasn't anywhere near as creamy, and it also wasn't as stretchy, even though it was definitely the same amount of thickness, I would say. And also another thing I would say is that the glitters in this one leaked, whereas in the new formula it doesn't. So to customize this, I did choose the old one just because I love the texture of the new one, and I decided to dye this brown just to create a hot chocolate kind of feel. And I always find that adding a lot of food dye also loosens up the texture, so I was hoping it would just get it to stretch a bit more and also just become a tiny bit more glossy like the new formula is. So this definitely lost a bit of thickness, which I expected, and when I was feeling the texture of the new slime, all I could think was this would go so well with marshmallow beads because it's really thick, but it also has enough leniency to be able to hold in some beads and create really good crunches, which is exactly what it did. It inflated so much, was so soft to touch, and so crunchy when you were popping it. The next slime was so fun to customize because this has a white base, so I knew I could do anything with this. I didn't have to go with complementary colors, so I made it rainbow. But to start off with, we're just going to be comparing our 2 cookies and cream from Moon Cotton. And this one was so fun for me because she's reformulated this so much, honestly beyond recognition. And I ended up preferring the end result of the old one. And this is a spoiler alert, this was so creamy, as you can probably see when I'm mixing it. I don't actually know if she's reformulated or the people who are making the ingredients have reformulated, because I know that Daiso has definitely got a different texture now. I think they've reformulated and that's what she originally used. But as you can see, the old one is so creamy, so airy. It also has some beads in there, which the new one doesn't, but I love the texture of this. And then the new one was nice. It was more of a, I would say, I don't want to say plasticky because it wasn't plasticky, but in comparison to the light and airy one, it was more of a holdable clay slime, I would say. So I decided to dye the new one, which was different for me because all the rest of them had been old ones. And naturally, I wanted to do a rainbow one because this was white and I just thought it would be really fun. So I started to layer it up one by one, starting off with red and just going up in a color gradient. And then when I reached the top, I almost added the old slime as a topping, as a whipped cream topping, but then I thought, wait, let's not waste the slime, let's add some shaving foam. And then I added some sprinkles and a candy cane, and it kind of ended up looking like a rainbow milkshake, which I really love, and this was so fun to mix. Whenever I do videos, people always ask me to review slimeowyAND, so I decided to include her iconic Dr. Pepper slime in this one. And this was very interesting because you can see the products broken down at the side. And as you can see here, there is very little slime in there. Like there's maybe 3/4 of a centimeter, I would say. So when I felt this, it wasn't sticky at all. It was really interesting. And I decided to make one of the worst decisions I've ever made, and this was activating it in the pot. This did not look satisfying at all. It was very hard because it was essentially just activating the clay. And then when I did take it out, it just didn't work too well. But this is the end result. The one thing I did notice was that this discolored, which all of the other slimes didn't seem to, but this one used to be a salmon color like the other one. I'm not sure if it wasn't food dye that colored this originally, but this was creamy, it was nice. It wasn't anywhere near as good as the new one though. The new one is just so soft, as you can see my fingers sink into it. So naturally I decided to make over the older slime, and for this I wanted to loosen up the texture a bit. I think the clay had just hardened over time with the air, so I wanted to add in a water-based paint, and as you can see this really loosened it up, made it a lot more airy and very spreadable. It was really fun to play with as well, just because it was so soft and the colour didn't come off on your fingers at all, which I was really impressed with. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and in the next 2 weeks I'm going to be trying something new. I'm going to be trying to upload twice a week every other week. Also going to be starting my vlog channel, and that's going to be on January 25th. It's linked in the description. If you don't want to miss out, then do subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video and have an amazing week.